What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 397, bro. We're about 2 episodes away from 400. YG 400. Shout out to YG, man. I think he dropped a record pretty recently. Pretty dope, man. I like YG to a certain extent. But yeah, I was just singing the song Changes by G Unit. That's such a classic, man. I was listening to the G Unit EPs that dropped in the end of 2014 and early 2015. The Beauty of Independence, which dropped in the end of 2014. And then The Beast is G Unit, which dropped in the beginning of 2015. So technically an album. It was just separated as EPs and released independently, distributed through Caroline Records. And that's it. I love 50's hooks on those EPs. Like the Changes hook. Man, knock that shit out. I love that whole track. All I ever wanted was a big body Benz and a clean set of rims. Shout out to that. That's a crazy hook by Kid and 50. And then you got, what's another hook that he does? Bring my bottles to my crew. That, and then I'm Ballin'. That's such a good hook. Until God calls for me, I'ma keep ballin'. Keep on ballin'. Like, his hook game is crazy. So I was just visiting those EPs, I think a couple days ago. I don't know why. Randomly, I was just like, you know what? I haven't listened to the EPs in a long time. So let me check these EPs out. And they didn't disappoint, man. I'm sad that that's all we got in that G Unit era. We got a bunch of freestyles, of course, those 2 EPs. And then we were scheduled to get 50's album, Buck's album, Banks' album, Yayo's album, Kid Kid's album, and then another G Unit album. But that never ended up happening. Nobody actually ended up releasing albums around that time. Which is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. But, hey, that is, it is what it is, man. Things like that happen. Let's get into the news, and there really isn't much that's happened besides that crazy J. Cole interview with Nadeska, Apple Music, and a few little things here and there. I was going to do a list, of my favorite J. Cole albums, but I didn't have time, to be honest with you. These past, 3-4 days, I've been on millions of calls. There's a lot of cool, exciting stuff happening behind the scenes. And I never thought to be honest with you, man, if you rewind in my life, even 5 years ago, I wouldn't believe I'm doing these phone calls with these people talking about these things. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. And a lot of it is just to take Diverse Mentality and turn it into a media company instead of just, me doing content. I'm going down the route of managing content for other content creators as well. And, we got our first client, and this guy is, I wish I could say, but we got our first client, and, we're going to see how it goes. If it goes well, which I'm very confident it will, then we bring on and grow Diverse Mentality as a media company. And then I just become a content creator in the Diverse Mentality company instead of just Quake is there and that's it, So that's why I haven't been able to properly do documentaries like I want to. The shift has gone to too much to expanding Diverse Mentality into something bigger than just, a YouTube channel. So we're about to right now. We're 2,000 followers away from surpassing 100,000 followers on Facebook. I know on X we just hit 7,000, which is great. So we're just constantly focusing on growing, getting that, and I'm about to have my first full-time employee with me, full-time, which is, that's never happened. I never had a full-time person helping me alongside what I was doing. It's always just been me with someone part-time and, and that's on the podcast end. That's not even on the Diverse Mentality main end. On the podcast end, I got, shout out to Ivan, who edits the podcast every time. He's the one that's been part-time helping me with that. I've never had anybody full-time. So this is going to, start to excel things, and it'll allow me to clear up a lot more of my time to do documentaries. Because I am not kidding with you guys. From the morning till the night, I'm either on a phone call, taking a meeting with something. I'm trying to figure out something on social media that went wrong or that we got to analyze and fix. I've talked to Meta. I've talked to all these social media platforms, figuring shit out and do it. Just it's call after call. And then personal life, you have stuff that pops up. So, it's been hard for me to just like sit down and focus on a documentary. I've started a lot of documentaries, but they've just been in the research phase. None of them have like the audio recorded from what I remember. I could be wrong, but it's mainly just the research. And that's usually the research is the hardest part. But in the future, what I want to do is eventually get someone in person, by the way. I would never do this because the person that's working with me full time, he's not in person with me. He's someone that, has been working with me for free for a really long time. And now he's coming on where I'm paying him full time. So I would need somebody in person to help me with documentaries, because that's the only, I have very big problems with like letting the creativity go to somebody else or letting loose with some of the stuff of the content that I do. Very big problem with it, because I have a certain vision for it. And to be honest with you, I only trust my research. I'm not saying that I'm the best ever and that I'm the only one that knows how to research like this, but my research is done through the depths of hell. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'll never forget. I went on MTV.com website, and I was like, I forget what I was. Oh, is this for the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary? I was searching for those old 2002 50 Cent interviews, and I found them. And how I found them was I was going through the URL, and I'm not even kidding you. I was typing in like 50-S, not S, but CENT, because it's 50 Cent dash 2002 slash like whatever I would be able to piece together. And that would randomly take me through the website of MTV and find me to this random clip, because that clip is nowhere right now to this day. That clip that you see on the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary, it's when he's talking about the release, our songs off his Get Rich or Die Trying album. He says, Sway asked him about the songs. He says, "Oh, we're probably gonna go with Get Out the Club," and he says, "No, I mean In the Club. Sorry." So like that clip has never been seen online that I've seen every 50 Cent clip online. So I'm just saying that to say, like, my research is very deep. I will start coding shit. I will try to figure out how can I find this footage. And, it's hard to find somebody who has that type of dedication, who wants the documentary to be that good. It's hard to find good help, man. It's very hard to find good help, and help that, one, is passionate about what we are doing, and then two, is willing to put in that extra effort, because a lot of people just come and work for companies and stuff just to get their paycheck, and that's it. And I can understand that to a certain extent, right? Because it's not your company, but if you're passionate about something, like I would never join, let's just say, I don't know, Academics' team or Hot 97 or anybody that's in the hip hop world, like Joe and Jadakiss podcast, as a social media manager or editor. I would never join them if I didn't have the same passion and was willing to add more to it and make it bigger and help, So that's why I'm glad, like, I built my own platform and have shown and proved that I can do what I can do by myself. Because now when I go to these bigger names and I'm saying, hey, look what I've done, come be part of my company, they're willing to do it because they see what I've done just by myself. So that's the cool part about all this stuff. And so when I expand that, I just want to make sure that, the person that comes and does these documentaries and adds these pieces of information and even edits, if the person can, I want it to be seamless, where you can't even tell that I'm not writing it. Like, here's a good example. Seth MacFarlane, how do you say his last name? Seth MacFarlane. That's the guy who created Family Guy, right? He left Family Guy, I believe, in 2010, 2011. When he left Family Guy, it seemed like he never left. Like he was still part of the show. Like, what I mean by left is like he didn't write any more of the jokes, any more of the scripts, because he didn't have time. He started working on the Ted movie, and from there just started doing other things. So he left the writing process of Family Guy. All he does is the voiceovers for Brian, for Stewie, for Peter, and whoever else on the Family Guy show that he voices, right? So that's it. He just does the voiceovers. He doesn't write the scripts. He doesn't look over the joke, none of that. So that's what I mean. I want to get to a point where I can find somebody that can do the research properly, where it seems like there's no step that's been missed, where it just seems seamless, and all I got to do is record my voice, and that's it. They can edit. They can do the research. Like, if I get to that point, a lot more of my time will be freed up, and I'll be able to do even more things. Even more documentaries will be able to come out. Even more interviews will be able to come out. But when you're doing it by yourself, man, I don't know which way to go. I'm getting pulled this way, go do this, go do that. It is not for the weak-hearted. I'm telling you, man. People want to get into content creation. If you just want to make YouTube videos and that's it, and be in your house, and just like when I first started, where I was just at my house recording documentaries, putting them out, and that's it. I wasn't talking to nobody. I wasn't taking calls. I wasn't taking business meetings, none of this stuff. But if you want to expand, it gets, even just doing it at your house and doing content at your house is tough in itself. But when you want to expand and build something that's like a media company, it gets, there's a lot involved, man, a lot. Like I said, for the Give It Your Die Trying documentary, that I had roughly, I want to say like 20 people involved to a certain extent. And that's a lot, bro. That's a lot of people involved in a documentary versus when I was doing just at my house recording documentaries. I was doing the research. I was recording the voiceover. I was editing. That's all me, everything, so. And that's where I'm going to have the struggle, is relinquishing kind of control on some things. But if I can see somebody can do it, like because I'm not the best editor, like I'm not the best YouTube editor in the world. I know there are editors that are I'm skilled enough to where the content looks good. Has there been documentaries that I've made that I wish I could edit better? Yes, always. But I've always strived to improve as much as I can when I do have time. Like on the Nipsey one, I did some motion effects on the images, and that was something I had never done before. So like I've always messed around with things and seeing if I can get better and figure out certain things. I always like to do that, because I feel like if you're not evolving and growing the content, then what's the point? You're just doing the same thing over and over again. And I feel like really just a lot of people do that because they just want the money and that's it. They don't care about the actual creation process, the creating, the documentaries and making them really, basically classics. I feel like I got a couple of classics under my belt when it comes to the documentaries that I make. Not to toot my own horn, but yeah. So I'm ranting here for a while, but yeah, that's really the process that I've been in right now. So I'm not giving up on documentaries. Like I keep having to repeat myself because I think some people don't watch the podcast. So I'm kind of like speaking to people that don't watch the podcast, so that it makes no sense. But I've had to message people, on social media and tell them, hey, just bear with me here as I go through this, changes in some of these things, and we'll get content. I'm pretty confident this month I can get one out, maybe, because I always say that and then it just never happens, because this month's almost over. It's the 22nd right now. By the time you guys watch this, will be the 23rd. So at least by the beginning of April, I'll have something out. I know 100% that, because I do have this documentary I'm working on. It's not really that long, and it's not too crazy, to where it gets out of control and it's a 2-hour long documentary. Also, I am working on something else, and this is a whole different, it's a side project. This is what I'm talking about. I have so many side things going on, but on this one, all I'm doing is lending my voice. The script is not done by me. The topic of the video is not done by me. The editing is not done by me. And nothing is done by me besides me recording my voice. So you guys, when I present this to you guys and you guys watch it, I might even do a collab on Diverse Mentality, the main channel. When I present this and you guys watch it, it is my voice. That's it. I didn't do the script writing. I didn't do the editing. I didn't do the topic of what we're talking about. And that's eventually, I want me to be in that position for Diverse Mentality, where a topic, I'll still choose a topic because I like to choose the topics and stuff. But, I want to get to a point where I don't do the research. I don't even do the script. I don't do the editing. All I got to do there is record, and that's it. Just like how Seth does with Family Guy. That's the best way where I can utilize my time to do a bunch of things that you guys want to see. Other than that, unless I clone 10 of me's, then that's the only way this is ever going to, happen. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, and let's get into the news. And we're going to start with T.I.'s son. King has decided to continue trolling 50 Cent's dead mother. Unfortunately, he wants more clout from 50, and I'm glad 50's not responding to this or giving any attention to this, because this is the funny thing, is these guys are going to have to, this is the most attention that Damani and King have ever gotten, right? So they're going to have to live, they're going to get that clout that they got from 50, right? They enjoy that clout, but now they're going to have to live up to that clout. Is it just from 50's effect, or are you really that interesting and people care about what you're talking about? So as the months go on, we're going to see, but let's go over this. The beef between 50 Cent and T.I. has died down as of late, but that doesn't mean there isn't still a lot of bad blood between them. Most recently, Tip's son, King Harris, doubled down on his disses to 50's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, by claiming he got a copyright strike to allude to her likeness for a weed brand. As caught by Live Bites on Instagram, King took to social media to respond to fans still discussing the conflict. 50 Cent dissed King Harris's family in the theme song to the new Power series, so Harris thinks they're even now. People ask me why we got Miss Jackson on a pack. Guy wanted to make a TV show, he remarked. I call it even. When I'm listening to the intro of the goddamn season, I'm going to be smoking Miss Jackson. We even, fair game. You did your shit, I did my shit. Nobody gives a shit about you smoking, bro. And I had got her name copyrighted since nobody wanted to do that. Other than Outkast, Miss Jackson is mine, son, to be exact. Miss Jackson OG and Miss Jackson Candy Shop is me. Yeah, that is next levels of corny. The young rapper has been sharing this marijuana line on social media as of late, further adding fuel to this fire, considering how the unit mogul has mostly stuck to social media trolling to respond to the Harris family. We doubt he will go much harder in response here, but that's always a possibility. Yeah, I think 50 should not entertain this at all. Let's see if he can, live off his, he got the buzz from 50. Let's see if he actually got any type of interest moving forward, because I'm telling you guys, man, these guys would have never, Damani and King would have never gotten interviewed by Complex if it wasn't for the beef with 50. Nobody's checking for these two guys. Damani, I can kind of give a little bit, he's got his own little music thing going on. He's got a little bit decent views here and there. Damani, I can understand if somebody says, hey, I'm a fan of Damani before this happened. To me, he's like a J. Cole of the new generation. People have said that. And hey, if you listen to Damani, hey, it is what it is. You like his music. I'm not judging. I don't listen to him. Never heard of him until now. But King, nobody's checking for King's music. There's not a single person that has said, oh, I'm a huge King fan, bro. I listen to all of his music, whatever he's released. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's not, just because you hate 50, let's not prop up these guys and act like they're this huge name. You know what I'm saying? But hey, they capitalized on the moment, man. That's smart on what they did. They capitalized on the moment, and the thing that they're gonna have to prove can they sustain that? So we'll see moving forward. But like I said, this dead mother thing and blunt smoking is corny. I get that 50 brought in your mother, but he didn't say a single thing on the photo. But King is king, and he's going to do what he wants to do, I guess. And whatever comes with repercussions for that is going to be something he's going to have to handle. I would hope T.I. doesn't jump in, but I would not be surprised if T.I. did jump in, because that's his son, right? But he is a quote unquote grown man, because T.I., when he got asked about his son doing these things, hey, he's a grown man. He's doing his own thing. I didn't tell him to do this. So God forbid if something happens to King, T.I.'s got to say, hey, he's a grown man. He has to deal with the repercussions. Because if he jumps in and says, oh, no, that's my kid, you can't, then it's like, now you're flip-flopping. You didn't check your kid when he was doing this stuff. But I just hope it never gets to that, because a lot of this was just stupid. A lot of it was dumb. T.I. should have just stopped pressing for reverses back in 2021. It was way, way too much of asking for reverses. And yeah, we'll see, man. The music, the second song he dropped isn't that good. I like Let Him Know way more than the second. I think it's the second single. It's called like Family Trauma or something like that. What is this record called? Trauma Bond. And yeah, his family's like on the, and only got 60,000 views, bro. Actually, no, wait. That's an official lyric video. So the official audio got 100,000 views. So there you go. I mean, the momentum off that Let 'Em Know record, I think it's slowly starting to die down. I could be wrong, but we'll see, man. We'll see if T.I. can kind of last doing this stuff, because he's still focused on his music career, So people are going to throw, oh, well, what about 50? He dropped records, and they're not doing what. Well, 50 doesn't really drop music. Like, T.I. is doing a full promo run, doing interviews left and right, talking about a single, talking about his new album. 50 ain't doing that. 50 hasn't done an interview, like a full-blown interview, since the Diddy documentary dropped on Netflix in the beginning of December. And that wasn't really full-blown. He did like some 10-minute interviews, something like that. So, yeah, we'll see, man. Hopefully this completely dies down and everybody moves on, because this has gotten extreme levels of corny. I got tired of it, honestly. After like the fourth T.I. diss track, I was like, all right, this is getting too much of back and forth and too many Instagram memes from 50 and too much diss tracks and all this. I was just like, all right, this is getting too crazy, but we'll see. Usher reportedly confronted Justin Bieber at Beyonce's Oscars after party. So let's go over this. Usher and Justin Bieber have a lot in common. Over the years, the two former child stars were said to have developed a pretty solid bond. TMZ reports, however, that the two of them recently got into a heated exchange at an Oscars after party hosted by Beyonce and Jay-Z. Apparently, they unfollowed each other on social media months ago. Sources close to Bieber told the outlet that Usher approached him with energy and anger, though the situation never escalated to the point of physical violence. Sources also claim that Bieber has always been rude to Usher and is currently trying to distance himself from the people of his past. For now, it remains unclear exactly what prompted the alleged incident, but there were plenty of celebrities in attendance to watch it all unfold. This includes Taylor Swift, Tiana Taylor, Kylie Jenner, and more. Bieber's wife, Hailey, was also at the event. At the time of the writing, neither Usher nor Bieber's teams have addressed the report. Countless fans, and on the other hand, have. So, you know what I thought about this? And I'm not even joking. First, the photo that's out there of this incident is AI. It's not real, guys. I know 50 posted it, and a bunch of people are posting it, thinking it's real. It's not real. That's AI. None of that's real. And fuck the people that make these AI images and put like a TMZ stamp over it to make it seem like it's official. Literally, these people that like feed misinformation, they're all like, I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. They are devils. These people who make this fake AI shit and feed fake information. And the people that spread it and post it, 50 included, everybody that spreads and posts this AI shit is just like not cool. If you're going to post it, at least make it clear that it's AI. So I hate all this AI shit that's happening. But I'm going to go into a little conspiracy theory rabbit hole with this. I might sound crazy. I might sound logical. So this is where I'm at with this. This is what I think. I think Usher was the one to discover Justin Bieber, right? Essentially. Got him signed. And then Diddy was very, very involved with Justin Bieber. And if you look at the videos of Diddy and Justin Bieber together, to a certain extent, Justin Bieber looks uneasy. I think, and this is straight up, there's no proof of this. This is just a conspiracy theory of mine that I'm assuming. There's no fact to this. I want to make that very clear. This is just me with my conspiracy theory mind. I think Usher got a hold of Justin Bieber as a kid, of course, signing him. And Usher introduced Justin Bieber to Diddy. And something happened there where Justin Bieber probably got violated in a bad way. I think as a kid, he never really said anything. But as he was growing older, man, he kind of started to, I don't want to say lose his mind, but he started like turning on the people that were initially, there for him in terms of the industry. I think something happened behind the scenes there. Because if you know, like, Usher talks about a long time ago when he was a kid, when he was just getting started in Hollywood, Diddy, would bring him to Diddy's Fun House or whatever it was called, or Diddy's Playhouse. I forgot what the fuck the title of that was. But yeah, it would be something where he would take him, and potentially introduce him to a lot of different things in Hollywood. And as a kid, you're 15, 16 years old, getting introduced to this stuff is not good, man. And it can mess with your psyche, and it can cause, these celebrities to quote unquote go crazy, because at that age, you're not supposed to be introduced to all the crazy stuff that I'm sure these Hollywood adults were doing. So I think there is something brewing. I think when Diddy got locked up, probably something brewed there where Justin Bieber kind of sat back and was like, look at all these people that were vultures to me, that were introducing me to a lifestyle as a kid that I should have never been exposed to. I'm just, like I said, man, this is just a conspiracy theory on my end. There is no proof of this. My eye is killing me right now. I'm like scratching my eye a lot, itching my eye, or whatever you want to call it. There's no proof of this. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there, and that's what I think, just based off of video footage clips, the way the energy, you can tell in some videos the energy's kind of off. Something's weird, and that's the vibe that I got from all this. So that's my take on it. That's probably where something happened behind the scenes where, maybe Justin Bieber wanted to talk to Usher about all the stuff that happened. Maybe if there's something that ever happened. And Usher was like, no, you're tripping. You're just, you're a kid. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Who knows? So I don't know if we're going to get any more information on this, but this is what it is. Nobody's actually spoken on it yet. Not Usher's team, not Justin Bieber's team. So we'll see what happens moving forward. This is hilarious. The game got exposed for using the same pickup line on multiple women. So let's go over this article. The game has had his fair share of relationships over the years, but lately he's been a lone wolf. As a result, he's been shooting his shot, especially in the Instagram DMs. Unfortunately, the California rapper hasn't had much success, even with a pretty clever pickup line in his arsenal. Talking to his Instagram late last night, he shared what he's been using on the ladies as of late. He starts with F3, and as evidenced by this screenshotted exchange, it confuses them. But that's what he seemingly is going after, as he then gets to reply with this: oh shit, my bad. I saw a snack and thought it was a vending machine. However, this hasn't been landing with women he's pursued, and apparently a few of them have exposed him for reusing it. As a result, the game is deciding to retire it, and folks in his comment section are getting a good laugh out of his announcement. The caption of his post reads, F3 is now officially retired. We shot, we scored, we had a good run. On to bigger and better things now. F4 coming soon. Laughing emojis. So I'm going to be honest. The pickup line is pretty funny because it's like, what is this person talking about? That's the first thing. Gets, the female intrigued to respond. We're talking like it's like you're hunting something, but it gets, a female intrigued in terms of, like what's going on? What is this F3, out of nowhere? And then you call her a snack, like a vending machine. So it's a compliment, and it, I'm going to be honest with you, man. As this dies down and people forget about this, and mainly females, I will probably use this down the line. I don't know, man. I haven't tried pickup lines in a long time in the DMs. It's been a long ass time. I just don't put in, really, I don't have the effort to even date or go or do anything. Like, it's sad. I live in this bubble of just working right now. But I will, I'll figure out once I go, probably in the summer. I think in August, I'm going to go back to my country. So I'll spend some time there, and I'll probably run into some females, and who knows, maybe find my future wife. I don't know, right? I'm just saying I haven't, like when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I was, sliding in DMs, coming up with clever things, and, talking to all kinds of females, not multiple at once, because I was just like, that's too much work. But I would talk to whatever females I was interested at the time, right? But once I got to like 24, probably 25, and diverse mentality started growing more and more, I just really stopped giving a shit. I was in a relationship 2020. That's the funny thing. Yeah, beginning of 2020, like right after COVID hit. I was in a relationship, was with that girl for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and then broke that off. And then after that, I haven't really been in a relationship. I was just like, this is kind of boring. Not that like she was boring, but it was just like, I already, I tried with other females too, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just focus on my business, and the right one will come at the right time. That's how I look at it. But that's not to say that I won't ever try. I think people who say, oh, I'm just going to sit back and the love of my life is going to find me. That's never going to happen. That's rarely. If that ever has happened with somebody, it's like a 1 in 100 million, right? So you got to sometimes try, but don't if it's your constant focus and that's all you're doing, it probably won't come to you. That's basically it. And that's how I feel in those situations. When it comes to business, obviously, if you're focused on it, you're going to succeed. But in relationships, I feel like it comes to you naturally when you're not really looking for it. If that makes sense. At least everybody that I've known has said that to me. They're like, hey, I wasn't even looking to be in a relationship. This person just kind of came into my life. We hit it off, and now we're married with kids, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, shout out to Game, man. At least he had fun with the jokes, and he didn't take anything personal. And it doesn't seem like he's going to retire these pickup lines anytime soon. I wanted to talk about this because this sets a terrible precedent for the future of really what I do and what content creators in general do. This is a incredibly, how do I word this with all due respect? This is an incredibly stupid move by Nicki Minaj. She let her ego get the best of her in this situation. And I'm just frustrated because this rewards the bad stuff this content creator did. And this sets a precedent that's going to potentially lead to worse things. So let's go over what I'm talking about. Since Tasha K lost a defamation lawsuit from none other than Cardi B, she has been trying to get the money she needs to satisfy the judgment against her. She allegedly got some help in this regard from Cardi's hip-hop rival Nicki Minaj, which she was very grateful for. Live Bites caught Tasha's reaction to the alleged payment on Twitter. For real, Nicki just gave me $1,000. She remarked during a TikTok live stream, which Nicki allegedly sent the money through. Seriously, thank you, Nicki. It was $3,000. No way. We're transferring that to the GoFundMe. We planning on being out of this bankruptcy in 1 year, baby. Nicki, you got to hit the GoFundMe, baby. The blogger reacted to the alleged news that TikTok takes a chunk of donations on the app. Then she took to Twitter to thank the Queen of Barbs. Thank you to the Queen, Nicki Minaj, for the generous donation on TikTok today. Tasha K wrote last night, Friday, March 20th, God is good all the time. Now we about to start some good old fuckery Friday on YouTube. Search, blah, 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 everywhere. Shout out to the Queen, Nicki Minaj, for giving me a generous donation. All right. So this is a horrible, horrible thing to do. Nicki Minaj, I disagree with a lot of shit she's done, but this is one of those because it affects my field of shit. Just because you hate Cardi B, you don't fucking help and donate somebody who spreads misinformation about people. The reason why she lost that lawsuit and is in the debt that she's in is because she was spreading misinformation about Cardi B. She was saying, hey, she has AIDS, she has these diseases, all this stuff, with no proof, no evidence. And Cardi, to her credit, respectfully and nicely said, hey, please stop talking about me and spreading this fake information about me. Please stop doing it. She had asked, I think, 3 or 4 times. And she was still doing it for clicks, for engagement. So she was spreading misinformation to the world about somebody. And then she got sued and faced the consequences of it, which was amazing. I'm glad Cardi B won that. I'm glad Tasha K is suffering for that. Because when you have a platform, it is your duty to report the accurate information. And Nicki, when you're donating to try to help this person just because you hate the person that she was spreading misinformation about, you know what that's doing? That's telling other content creators, journalists, reporters, whatever you want to call them, that, hey, if I spread misinformation, it's not a big deal. I might lose a lawsuit, but I'll have somebody of a celebrity that hates the celebrity donate for me and help me out. That's a horrible thing to put as a message out there, because Nicki hates it when misinformation gets spread about her. And she's threatened to sue people over that. But you're okay when it's about somebody you don't like, misinformation gets spread. That's very, very ignorant. You know, if I didn't like somebody, right? You know, let's just say I don't like, somebody. I would never, as much as I dislike that person, I would not, be like, yeah, spread misinformation about this person. That's really fucked up. That's vile. That's evil. And when it starts to backfire and it goes to you, you can't cry about it. You're the one that's supporting it with this shit, with this donation. What are you doing? I hate that I even got a report on this Tasha, because I hate, 90 to 95% of the shit she reports on is fake. And I'm mad that certain, even 50 shares some of her shit. Sometimes I'm just scratching my head, what are you doing? Nicki, Nicki's just all over the place. I can't stand what Nicki's been doing these past couple of years. I really can't. I've tried to keep my mouth shut about it, just kind of ignore it, because it's always in your face, and it's just I don't really give a shit. I'm just kind of I could care, I give 2 fucks about it, right? But it's just constantly in your face. There's always tweets. There's always, this. It's annoying. And unfortunately, her stands are very aggressive about this shit, and they just believe anything Nicki Minaj says no matter what. And that's a problem in any stand. I'm saying even on the 50 Cent side, there's stands of 50. I'm a fan. I'm one of the biggest fans of 50 Cent. But even I recognize when he's wrong and shit, and I can say, hey, this is not it, Fifth. This ain't it. The fuck are you doing? Sharing fake AI photos and not saying it's AI in the caption. Sharing Tasha K's Diddy information that she got. Come on, man. So I get pissed off on these type of things, because I pride myself on reporting accurate information. You know how many times I've seen, and actually somebody got into, Ice Cube got into an argument with somebody on X about a quote he never said. And here's the funny thing. So there's this quote that always been going around, and it's mainly been quoted by 50. Like, people have said 50 has said this. And the quote is something along the lines of like, 50 disapproves of the LGBTQ being inserted into kids' cartoons, right? 50 has never said shit about any of that. Like, there's not a single quote where he said that. It's just fake information that always gets regurgitated, not real. So the funny thing is it gets transferred to Ice Cube. They say, oh, Ice Cube says he doesn't want LGBTQ in the children's cartoons and this and that. And somebody posts it. You know what Ice Cube does? Rightfully so, as he should. He's like, this is fake. I never said this. This is AI. You got caught by AI. You know what the guy does that reports it? He says, like, fuck you. Well, then I guess you're supporting this. Like, no, he just said, listen, that quote, I never said this. He's not saying he agrees with it or disagrees with it. He's just saying, what the fuck? You're reporting on something that never happened. Never happened. You know, it's been happening a lot. And the funny thing is, in the replies of that Ice Cube quote, somebody in the reply says, nah, it was actually 50 that said this. When 50 never said it either. You know, this is the problem. This is what my platform, and I'm hoping a lot of other platforms, are actually fighting against, because I'm against misinformation. I'm against fake quotes. I'm against all that. If you don't see it on my page, it didn't fucking happen. And I can't wait till I build a team. Like earlier in the podcast I'm talking about, I can't wait till I build a team so that we can cover everything. Because when we cover everything, then you can get, you know, all your news, everything from me. And know that I am very diligent in making sure that the information is correct. Now, the guy that's working for me, that's going to start full time, he's had mistakes here and there, but I am teaching him, coaching him, and stuff like that. But I will, as much as I can to my ability, oversee everything. You know, but once you start building a company, it's hard to oversee everybody that posts everything on your company, right? But I am going to be very, like, I'm going to have like a 3-strike rule on my company that if you misinformation, if you post 3 things misinformation within a year, you're out. Firing you, get the fuck out of here, because clearly you can't do proper research on if something's real or not. And what I love about X now is they're punishing people spreading misinformation. What they're doing now is that guy who posted that fake Ice Cube quote got community noted as this is fake because Ice Cube quoted it and said this is fake. So when a tweet now by somebody gets community noted as fake information, they don't earn money off that. Any money that would have came from that, they would have got taken back. And that's what all of these platforms should be doing. Every single one. No more AI, no more fake information. If you get community noted, if there's a fact that gets proven up that this is not real, you lose the money on that. Hell, like I said, there should be a 3-strike rule, quite frankly. But the problem is these platforms, they don't give a fuck, man. They don't. Do you think they really give a shit about misinformation? As long as people are engaging with it, they could give 2 fucks if somebody said it or not. And that's the problem, is these corporations only care about money. So it's just unfortunate because people get sucked into these misinformation things. And I've had so many people message me, hey, is this real? Like there's like a 50 track that came out where he's like dissing T.I. and his sons. And they're asking me, oh, is this real? Is this AI? I was like, dude, 50 didn't post it on his page. You think if he released a diss track towards them, you think he wouldn't post on his own page on Instagram? Like, some of this stuff is very easy to tell if it's fake or not. Just go on the artist's page, bro. If it's not there, it's not real. It doesn't exist. It's just that simple. That's one of the easiest ways. Obviously, though, you know, there's other ways to tell if something's real or fake. With that being said, all this, let me actually see. What's funny is when Ice Cube said this stuff, he actually got a person that responded. So check out this clip. It's hilarious. This guy falls for the AI stuff. And Ice Cube quotes it and says, "You sound like an old fool, mad at me for not taking credit for some shit I didn't actually say. AI got you, bitch. Relax." That's hilarious. So let's watch this video of this moron falling for AI. And a lot of morons online fall for this.
The funniest part is, I would have never expected Cube or one of his representatives to come say anything about it, but to deny you posted such good words in a positive time right now, that only makes you look stupid. Like a typical... You would rather support motherfucking what everybody in the world right now is up against than motherfucking stand with motherfuckers that don't want people fucking with children? Use the stupid nigga. And yes, I called you the stupid nigga. Nigga with an attitude, except you's a punk. Dre was taking the dick and you was feeding it to him. It's like that, and that's the way it is. Ain't that what y'all used to say back then when y'all old motherfuckers did some shit? But we don't forget the fact that Disney cut you some motherfucking of checks and you was, are we there yet? Is that what they was asking when they was running that in your ass? Are we there yet, sir? Cube, are you taking it? Are we there? Man, your feelings, punk. You want to talk to me? Come talk to me.
See, this is the problem. You see what I'm saying? Like, he gets called out for fake information AI, and he gets mad at Ice Cube for calling that out. Like, he's mad at reporting fake information. Like, he's mad that he reported that. Like, he's not taking accountability. He's not saying, listen, Cube, I apologize. I just liked the quote. I agree with it. I thought you said it, so I posted it. I apologize. I'm going to remove it. And that's it. This guy takes no accountability. It's just like, yo, fuck you. You're against whatever the quote. Let me actually read the quote. Let's just see what it says. Many people have begun boycotting rapper and actor Ice Cube's music and films following comments he made about children in media. He stated that young audiences should not be exposed to cartoons that include LGBTQ themes. According to him, children should grow up with more traditional values and should focus on allowing kids to simply enjoy being kids. Okay. All Ice Cube said, he never said he disagrees or agrees with it. He just said, look, these are not my words. This is artificial intelligence. Which is funny because both these guys are really old. It's not artificial. The image is AI, the image that's made, but the quote, you can't artificial intelligence a quote. That's it's just a quote that somebody wrote up that people thought was from Ice Cube. That's not artificial intelligence. People were doing that before fucking AI even existed. So yeah, he gets mad. So he makes that video cussing out Ice Cube, and Ice Cube's just like, yo, you sound like an old fool. Like, what the fuck? Like, mad at me for not taking credit for some shit I didn't actually say. Like, it's that simple. So this is a funny scenario, man. And this guy won't, he's mad because he got called out as a fake person who posts fake information. And then look, so somebody quoted Ice Cube in his, fake post. And he said, well, let him be a pedo. Like, how is that a pedophile? Like, what does that have anything to do with pedophile? It's just about LGBTQ, being in cartoons. That has nothing to do with pedophilia. But yeah. And then the guy responded, no payout because of the community. No, with sad faces. And he's like, I work a 40-hour job. Payouts never needed. Well, then why'd you post that in the first place? Like, if you actually work a job and you're doing this as a platform, you're selling T-shirts on your platform, you're doing all this, but you're just mad because it was fake. And the funny thing is you go down, somebody says, yo, 50 said it. And I'm like, dude, 50 never said this either. That's the funniest shit ever, too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Fake information getting spread, and Nicki Minaj paying Tasha K to do that is ridiculous. We're already in a world that's fucked with fake information and misinformation. That Nicki doing this sets a bad example. So that's my take on it. I was heated when it happened. All right, so J. Cole, has now decided to do interview run for his Fall Off album. And the first one that he did was with Nadeska at Apple Music, which is a very safe interview. I hate these safe interviews of going to these platforms where it's all softball questions and, it's just corny. Like, go to these platforms that actually want to ask dope-ass questions. No disrespect to Nadeska, right? She has to follow a protocol because Apple Music is Apple Music, right? So he talks about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing, and then he talks about why he apologized and how right before he's about to apologize, he tells his wife, and his wife ends up crying. So let's watch the first clip about how he feels about Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
But it's the type of stuff that I think about.
I mean, is that still on your mind now with the fall off, out this big three? It's like you've had your relationships with Kendrick and Drake stretch back years. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's like with you guys now.
I mean, first of all, those is dudes that I admire these dudes. I got genuine love for these dudes. I hate to see the world shit on either one of them in defense of the other. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, that shit is, even saying it out loud is a little silly.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm glad you made the decision that was right for you.
Appreciate it.
You know what I mean? That you feel good and you could sleep well at night, and then you make an album that you love and you're proud of and has so many dope full circle moments, like Erykah Badu being on The Village when you sampled her on Too Deep for the intro. That's a moment. Yeah. Even at the end of Forest Hills Drive, you going on your little rant about sampling. I'm gonna take you all to the Supreme Court. Now in the fall off, you sample some amazing classic like 90s hip hop songs. Like I feel like you
Yes.
got it off.
Yes, and thank you to James Taylor. And thank you to everybody that.
See how you see what I'm talking about with the softball? Like she'll pivot and be like, "No, you should have kept it on the Drake and Kendrick thing and said, hey, where do you stand? Why are you, why this, why that? Are you gonna be making music with Kendrick Lamar in the future? Are you gonna be making music with Drake? What do you know behind the scenes? I heard this, that you were X, Y, and Z, and that one thing I heard behind the scenes at the time was that Kendrick had told Cole, back out of this because it's going to get ugly. Ask about that. I want to know. Did you know before that? So here's the next clip. That's going to be interesting.
Before you made the apology, the 5 minutes, the 5 hours before, was it something that you had really thought of and planned?
No.
Or did you get on the stage and felt like, I need to do this?
No, it hit me an hour before.
Okay.
But before that, I was stressing the fuck out but in the moment that the idea came to me, like via God, it's like, oh man, I lifted and I got light and I got excited. I got so excited because, to tell you the 2 or 3 days before that, it was like, oh my, nah, this is terrible, because I felt like I misrepresented myself. You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden I'm giving life to division and to negative storylines or negative perceptions on somebody that I fuck with and got love for. You know what I mean? Somebody that I like care about. And it's like, oh shit. In my mind, of course, I mean, I could take you back to, we know why that happened in the first place,
right.
But just to answer your question, that shit had me feeling terrible. Cause I'm like, oh my God, like this shit is nasty. This shit don't feel right. And of course, leading up to it, when I was doing it, it made sense. Actually, I can't really say it made sense, but in a moment where I wasn't clear, like we were just talking about, I chose to do something that didn't align. It's like putting on the fucking outfit, the Versace sweater or whatever. In a moment where I wasn't clear, I chose to go this way for reasons that I could tell you about. But all you need to know right now is like, yo, I felt miserable about it. Like literally, like my whole demeanor, my whole shit, my wife could tell. And so I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go on the stage and like come out here and pretend. Almost like people think that I'm represented. Mike Delete Later had just dropped. It's the biggest news. Not saying Mike Delete Later is, but just the drama of all of this is the biggest news happening. And I'm coming out as a representative of what the fuck they just heard. It's like, nah. So an hour before it was like, aha. Like, yo, in a very loud manner, in a very public forum on your album, you said some shit you didn't believe in. Now you got the opportunity to go on the a bigger forum, a bigger stage is being live stream and say something that you believe in. And in that moment, I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Like, I told my wife, she the only one I told. I ain't telling nobody else. I was like, yo, this is what I'm about to go do. She start crying because she know how I feel about him. You know what I mean? Like she knows, and she saw how it was weighing on me the 2-3 days before that. She could see in my whole energy, and she would even ask me, and I'm just like, yeah, I got a lot going on right now. Like, so when I go and do it, I felt even better than I felt knowing I was going to do it. I felt like, if you'd have seen me that night, man, mind you, the demeanor of everybody around me.
I was just going to say.
Like, damn, nigga, like my man Barry from since the 80s, he Earth Gang, signed Earth
Barry.
Gang, and yeah.
He'll always keep it real with you.
100%, that's my nigga. Like but he just sitting there like, he like, you a good dude, man. But he's almost disgusted about it. Like, he's almost hurt about it. And if you would have saw me, I'm just like, bro, like I feel amazing because now the world knows how I really actually.
All right. I love the 7-minute drill diss track. I still listen to it fairly often. So J. Cole getting involved in that would have been fire. But if J. Cole's heart wasn't in it, like he didn't actually hate Kendrick, would we have gotten a really good back and forth? Because I don't think Kendrick even hates J. Cole like that. But sometimes you can get a good back and forth where people don't actually hate each other just for the sport of hip hop, battle. But whatever, man. I think he's getting backlash for this because he says his wife cried, because he told her that he's gonna apologize. He's getting backlash for that. Listen, if he would have said something different, if he would have gone there and dissed, there would have been backlash either way of all kinds of different things, right? Because if you would have got involved in the battle with Drake and Kendrick, you could have released the weakest diss tracks, or, it would have been looked at as like, hey, Drake and Cole have to team up on Kendrick, so 2 out of the big 3 got to team up on Kendrick. So the problem with J. Cole is he was cool with both of them. So it's like, it's like, okay, do I just say fuck both of them after I just got off tour with Drake? Or do I just team up with Drake and go after this guy and make Kendrick look like the bigger beast in this situation? Because if Kendrick drops a Not Like Us and cooks Drake and J. Cole at the same time, there really is no big 3 at that point. It's like, damn, Kendrick just whooped both of y'all. So I think J. Cole would have been in a lose-lose situation regardless. I think this is actually one of the best moves that he could have done because his heart wasn't in it and him bowing out. But people are going to always say it's going to be an asterisk on his career because he talks all this talk about being the best. And then when the time comes to show and prove, he decides to bow out. So, yeah, I just wish the interview would have been a little bit better. More questions would have asked that would have been more intriguing. But, hey, that's what you get from Apple Music. You really don't get the best interviews from there because it's softball. Funny enough, he's doing another interview, and this is where I expect some type of interesting dialogue because in a funny skit, Cameron is recording his normal podcast, and J. Cole shows up. And he basically says, really, dog, you gonna sue me? So that's really funny, and that episode is going to drop this upcoming week. J. Cole is actually appearing on Cameron's podcast, and I'm sure that lawsuit's going to get dropped after that. And that will be something that will be interesting to, talk about. So that's it for the J. Cole stuff. All right, new music. Let's get into it. Mike Will Made It dropped his Reset album. Rick Ross dropped Minx in Miami with French Montana Max B. Lotto dropped the little 2 records that he dropped that she mentioned about with her pregnancy. Coi Leray and NBA Youngboy dropped Better Than Yours. Black dropped Bird Flu. Kid Cudi dropped Have You Been to Heaven at Night, the EP. And Sway Lee dropped Don't Even Call featuring Rich the Kid. T.I. dropped Trauma Bound, and BX the Plug and Buent dropped 6WA album. So yeah, check out those projects. Album sales, Harry Styles is at number 1 still with Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally with 98,000. Morgan Wallen's at number 2 with I'm the Problem with 73,000. Johnny Blue Skies and the Dark Clouds is at number 3 debut with 64,000. Bad Bunny's at number 4 with 57,000. Harmony Unique is a number 5 debut at 57,000. Don Toliver Octane number 6 with 55,000. Olivia D number 7, The Art of Lovin' 53,000. Number 8, Bruno Mars The Romantic 53,000. Number 9, Tate McRae So Close to What 43,000. Number 10, K-Pop Demon Hunters Soundtrack with 37,000. Is SZA SOS number 13 with 35,000. Going down the list, Drake Take Care number 22 with 24,000. J. Cole The Fall Off number 23 with 24,000. Michael Jackson number 1 number 25 with 23,000. Cardi B Am I the Drama number 31 with 20,000. Jack Harlow, this is a horrible debut. And number 36 debut with 19,000 sold the first week. Damn, that's a huge fall off. But it is what it is. That's what happens when you try something new. And he got backlash for that More Black thing. I don't know what he said on that. I never watched it because I don't really care too much for Jack Harlow. Drake Views number 39 with 18,000. Party Next Door and Drake Some Sexy Songs for You number 42 with 17,000. NBA Youngboy Slime Cry number 45 with 17,000. Eminem Curtain Call The Hits at number 48 with 16,000. That album's forever selling, bro. That's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Stream us Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.